came back for more. Yeah, feel time slipping down your spine. Ooh, you're trying to ignore. Yeah, but you can hardly.
Hey, what is good? What's good? Hello. Okay. Hopefully y'all can hear me. Hopefully everything's good. Okay. Well, let me actually adjust the light real quick. There you go. It should be a lot better now. Whoo! Should be a lot better now. Alright. What's good, everyone? Yvonne. Hello there. Everyone, welcome. Welcome. We are finally, we're really back with this. And man, it feels good. So I'm back with this. Hello, everyone. I'm Riding the Phantoms here. Nice to see everyone here. Nice to hear from you. Nice to see from you. Today, of course, is February 1st. A new month. February 1st, 2023. We're back with episode 43 of the Lightning Round podcast. Nice to see y'all. Of course, for anyone that don't know what this podcast is all about, this is the one time out of the week where we take some time out of gaming and we sit down and we talk about the following topic. We talk about topics and stuff that's... How you doing, for you? We talk about the topics and stuff that are, on our mind. Plenty of topics that are on our mind. We talk about it, we relax, and, we chill. So, with that being said, of course, if anyone, for me, I'm writing fans play a wide variety of games, action games, sports games, JRPGs, RPGs, any of the like. My community, named the fans, we play the exact same games. We chill out with one another. You can join in on the Guilded, join in on the Discord, and you can come by and chill out with us from there. So today, we have plenty of topics on our mind today that we need to get off our chest. Definitely, because it's a lot has happened since the last time I did another episode. So, let me bring up one more thing, and then after that we can start. Because I want to make sure I'm properly prepared for all this. I wanna make sure. Okay, yeah. All right, I'm good. Sweet. All right, got it. Okay, so today we got the following topics we need to bring up. We need to talk about the NFL Conference Championship games that happened. We need to talk about Jay Briscoe. We're going to celebrate the life of the amazing Ring of Honor wrestler. Basically, for anyone that don't know who Jay Briscoe is, he was basically a part of a small promotion, and he stayed loyal to that small promotion for so many years. And he was just a solid wrestler, great at promos, and more so than anything else, he was a great father and a great friend to a lot of the wrestlers that that look up to. So here's how I see it. A lot of the wrestlers you see today in WWE, or in this case AEW, they would say that they were molded or inspired by Jay Briscoe, along with his brother Mark, who I will talk about in a bit too. So, but it's more to it than just Jay Briscoe that we're going to talk about. We're going to talk about Warner Brothers as well, with how they handled the situation when it went to him. We're going to talk about that, and of course we're going to talk about the Yu-Gi-Oh ban list, because apparently the ban list got updated while I wasn't able to do anything. So we're definitely going to get ourselves another interesting ban list to talk about with Yu-Gi-Oh. And last but not least, we're going to talk about the D&D situation. We're going to talk about what happened with D&D. I wasn't able to cover it last week, where it was like last week or two when it was like getting real hot with what happened with them. So I just want to make sure that we talk about it and we cover everything that has happened with D&D from the beginning to end. And speaking of D&D, I brought some people along to help us cover the situation even more. So I'm gonna unmute them right now. We have Ducky Momo and we have Yvonne Helm to help me cover D&D because they play it way more than I do. They cover it way more than I do. So of course they will be able to help us shed more light on what happened with them from beginning to end. So, Ducky and Yvonne, feel free to go ahead and introduce yourself. I'm just gonna chill out for a little bit and get this setup ready.
Alrighty. Hello. I am Ducky 3 Momo, and we also have Yvonne Heim, who, if you guys hear echoing between the two of us, it's because we're in the same room.
Mm-hmm.
So, we'll try our best to not have that happen.
Hello, I'm Yvonne Heim once again. Apologies for any echoing. We'll do our best to not echo. Do you hear an echo currently, Pooh?
No, I don't hear any echo.
Okay, good.
Yeah, it's all good on my end, so y'all are fine. All right. So this is our first topic, of course, that I did promise y'all that we were gonna discuss. We were gonna talk about the D&D situation from beginning to end. So what happened? For anyone that does not know, anyone that does not play D&D, but they would like to say if they were new or if they one day would want to get into it, please feel free, go ahead and shed some light. What the hell happened with D&D that had the fan base in such an uproar at one point, and now it's like they're kind of cooled off on it. Either they cooled off on it or they're moved on to other things. So please, by all means, feel free to go ahead and start it however you want, however you wish with this.
Alright,
Becky, would you like to start?
sure.
By the way, if there are any links you want to send with this, feel free. I will bring it up on the screen so people can, catch up with you.
Yeah, if the easiest is just go to Dungeons and Dragons Twitter, which is either Dungeons and is it D&D Beyond Twitter and Wizards of the Coast. You can find a lot of what's going on through the Twitter there. And you can basically see all the drama that's happened
Okay.
throughout all the tweets in there.
Okay.
But to sum up everything, Wizards of the Coast had recently hired a new CEO that had come from Microsoft. And this person was all about the cryptocurrency. Is still about the cryptocurrency. They've also teamed up with Hasbro, and for anyone who doesn't know, Hasbro has a record of ruining communities that that people like, fandoms that like certain things that they were made, and they end up ruining it for people. So it was bad choices on Wizards of the Coast in the first place to have them. And this new CEO has never played Dungeons and Dragons in their life, doesn't understand anything of the community and such. And they started pushing the fact that D&D was not monetized. And I can understand what they were going for, but they executed it completely wrong. And it's honestly just bad. A lot of people ended up leaving Wizards of the Coast content, and as well as Dungeons or D&D Beyond's content, because of the mess that they put themselves into. The biggest issue was the fact that they were going to try and change the OGL, which is the Open Game License.
To let you know, I have brought this up as a link. A person put out a short version involving what had happened, but you feel free to still go ahead and talk about it.
And this is a lot of just what I've understood and what I've read, so don't completely quote me on it, but you can do your own research as well. It came down to the fact that they were looking to try to get more money. Honestly.
Mm-hmm.
And they are trying to put out one D&D, which is supposed to be this virtual tabletop AI dungeon master and everything like that. And it wasn't like, it was interesting sounding, but they don't want competition. And with a new OGL that they put out, that we're trying to put out, they were trying to get rid of all virtual tabletops that existed. They wanted to get rid of third-party people and third-party companies, and then they tried to cover it up with like saying that, oh, we don't want any rude content being out there if it's like sexist or something awful. If they were like, they just wanted to monetize it, but honestly, it's just all about the money. They want the money. And in the original posting of the OGLs that they were trying to go for, they were going to try and put a lot of royalties on third-party companies if they weren't going to comply with their demands and such. And it was going to be a 25% or 20% royalty, which is a lot of money for people who don't understand about royalties. It's just that at that point, people are losing jobs. They're losing their well-being because this is their livelihood of making these products that other people are already consuming. Everyone loves this stuff. But because Dungeons & Dragons isn't getting anything portion-wise, they wanted money. Because it's our stuff, we should have money and stuff like that. And
Now, I'm going to say is the main problem I kind of got with this whole thing is where it's involving, like, it feels like, it's like you said, it was about to turn into a fucking monopoly. To
Yes.
the worst possible extent. Especially to where it branches out in terms of merch as well. And that's where it's, yeah, that's more of a no-no for me. Where I think you pointed out and you say any kind of art or any kind of things you make involving it, they'll take it as merch. And it's like you don't get anything out of it. For me, that's a massive turnoff for anyone that was looking to still make merch or still make art, for the games, because y'all love it as much as y'all do. So for it to head to that point was a little bit too crazy for me. That's where it kind of already drew a line, because it's like, look, we already see what happens when we have monopolies like this take over. It's never a good thing to have a monopoly, and this is no different that it's showing right now.
Definitely. And like, what was it? They were just wanting to go after third-party companies and stuff like that because they were making money that was based off of the systems that already exist. And because they weren't getting the money for it, they had a hissy fit. So.
Okay, like Pauzo with Pathfinder. Hello, Choco, welcome. So, okay, so with all that, here's my question: what made him back out on it? Is it because the community made him back out on it? Was there other situations?
It was the community. From what the documents and stuff said, because they leaked out the document and everything, it was trying to revoke the old OGL, but the old OGL was saying it cannot be revoked at all. So legally they couldn't do it. So it was just a mix-up of trying to figure out, for them to try to figure out how to override it and everything, but honestly they can't. So, but, what else? the and if anyone remembers, with when Dungeons and Dragons 4th edition came out, everyone went to Paizo, which Paizo is known for Pathfinder.
I'm looking at it right here, actually. I just found a link to. I found same person talking about this. Go ahead.
Yep. So it's not hard for them to end up messing up, and then the community just backing out.
Mm-hmm.
And when everyone heard about this new OGL trying to be enforced and everything, everyone just threw their arms up and was just having a throwdown with them.
Jesus.
And eventually it turned out that everyone decided to start unsubscribing to D&D Beyond. Because that was their biggest cryptocurrency, was D&D Beyond subscriptions.
Mm-hmm.
Which I did have one at the time. That was my biggest thing. I was always using that. Now I unsubscribed. I have limited stuff for it. I just use it to read the books because it's the cheapest way to get the books compared to having hardcovers. So,
is there any do you want to talk about what Choco sent here? So she said in the past when WOTC tried to get everyone to go from 3.5 D&D to 4, they essentially did it in a way that was bashing 3.5 and insulting the fan base for sticking with 3.5. Is there like anything you want to add with that?
personally, I don't have anything to add on, only because I've never really played 4th edition. I've played a tiny bit of 3.5 edition just before 5th edition came out.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't really personally know anything about 4th edition. All I know is the rumors of it being pretty horrible for out there and stuff.
Mm-hmm. I got you.
So
I got you. Yvonne, is there anything you want to add on with this, or are you good?
I do have something to add, but I'm letting Ducky speak for the moment because I still have things I'm reading through at the moment. I don't want to say something that doesn't make sense. I mumble a lot, personally.
Hey, that's absolutely fine. It's absolutely fine. Ducky, any more you want to continue on with this, with it?
So if anyone knows about Critical Role is sponsored by D&D Beyond. So legally, they can't really go against D&D Beyond and what Wizards of the Coast is doing because they're being sponsored by them. But they do like the fact that the community is standing up for themselves. They enjoy seeing the community flourish. And the freedom that everyone has. That's what they want. That's what their entire basis was put on.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that's their story.
So for people unaware of Critical Role, after this whole situation that happened with the OGL, they pretty much started partnering with like 4 other kinds of companies. They probably partnered with a couple more since the situation. So right now, what I'm looking at right here, they partnered with Ultra Pro. They partnered with I'm gonna assume this is artwork here. This is just artwork here.
So that is, yeah, I see it. That is their artwork for their own animated show that they have on Amazon Prime. You can go and watch it. It is called Vox Machina. And the only reason they have their own TV show is because the community supports them so much. And it's unbelievable. When they put a Kickstarter out to have their own show, they were only asking for, what was it, $7,500,000. Within a week or so, it got to $11.2 million.
Jesus Christ.
So
the amount of love
that
they
just
have.
shows, yeah, it just shows the amount of love they have for the community loving their content and the fact that they love their community.
Mm-hmm.
And they show it, and they even have their own foundation, which is the Critical Role Foundation.
What is that used for, if I may ask?
The Critical Role without foundation is just a foundation that is does donations to other foundations as well.
Oh, beautiful,
Uh,
beautiful.
What was it? What's their current one? Cause I haven't looked into it recently, but for those of you who know of Ashley Johnson's the president of the Critical Role Foundation. And she's well known for being an actor. She played in Blindside as one of the characters in that. She's played other famous cartoon characters. Let's see. So they do their current fundraising campaigns are for 826 LA, Red Nose Day, Pavlod Foundation,
Okay.
and some other ones too. Ones that are very well known. Are not well known actually, but are very interesting. 826 LA is just helping kids with their creative outreach. So, and I support that fully. A lot of kids need to be more open to their creativity.
All right. This is just, yeah, this is some solid artwork. Like all these dragons, goddamn. Fuyu asks, do you have thoughts on Amazon signing a deal with Critical Role for the Mighty Nine? Also, Ultra Pro collabing with Critical Role for figures.
I find it good because honestly, if it is not it is it has to be age appropriate because it's an adult show. I can guarantee you that. I've watched it personally. It's a really good show. And what I see that you're watching the new trailer, they're going to be making their second campaign into another animation. So they'll be having 2 different campaigns into animations, and that was just announced.
Okay, got you. If you guys all want links to this stuff, you can go ahead and check it out on the Discord and the Gilded both. They're all linked in there. So, with everything that's going on, with D&D and this, with Critical Role and just partnering up with all these people. He said Mighty Nine was a great campaign.
Yeah, we're gonna get Pooh eventually to watch both shows.
Mhm.
It's on our to-do list.
Okay. Definitely would be because it's like I said guys, for me I've never, like, at least at the time, I was never really all too interested in D&D before. I never really knew how to play or what it was about, how you move around, how you win, how you lose, or if there's anything involving that kind of thing, winning or losing, or if it's just chilling out. But ever since, of course, we found out there was a Monster Hunter version of this with how you do D&D, I'm like, okay, you have my attention. Because if y'all know the amount of love I have for Monster Hunter, then y'all know, look, I'll be willing to do however it means necessary to have fun with things Monster Hunter related. Right now, take it with Arc. Hell, we got a Monster Hunter mods Arc. I already liked the Arc initially thanks to Ducky putting me on, but seeing as they have Monster Hunter mods with it, I'm like, hell yes, let's go, let's get in here. So seeing as there's now a D&D version, I'm like, okay, I'm gonna enjoy this now with Monster Hunter, but at some point I might want to check out others and see how it's handled and see if I like them from there.
And they have plenty of other stuff, like some other ones. They have Call of Cthulhu. They have what is it? Of course, Pathfinder.
Mm-hmm.
There's plenty out there, and I mean plenty.
They're sorry, I didn't interrupt.
Oh, go ahead.
On top of what pardon me for mispronouncing your name. I'm just gonna call you. I don't know what to call you. Fuyuki Tsune.
Just call it Fuyu for short. It'll make it easier.
Fuyu. Yes, there are other role-playing tabletop groups or companies like Pathfinder, Kobold. What was their name? Kobold Press.
We have Cobalt Press. There is
I have played on a thing called Mutants and Masterminds. Don't quote me on that because I can't remember the name.
Mhm.
Yeah, there's so many other RPGs out there to run besides third-party 5e like custom worlds or systems. And everyone's been kind of looking around at alternate systems and RPGs to play in ever since the whole leak was out. People have been talking about, how would they respond? What's going to be their goal in the end? And I'm not sure how many people know, but about the 12th. I can't remember if it was the 12th. Hold on, let me look at this note again. Yeah, on the 12th, so many people were boycotting D&D Beyond, which is the Coast's official website for D&D. It crashed. So many people were unsubscribing, leaving the website, that the whole website crashed.
Jesus.
And that I believe, personally, I do believe that has affected Hasbro in the background, because I watched some of their numbers. Don't quote me on numbers, because I'm not really in that investing world, but they lost upwards of 40,000 subscribers. And
Damn.
if the math I'm looking at is correct, that's between 1.44 million to 2.88 million a year.
And that's what happens when you go against your community.
Yeah.
so after a lot of back and forth with not Critical Role, but D&D Beyond and Wizards of the Coast, they actually put out a survey people could do, which I just sent you, and this is the results of the survey.
Mm-hmm.
And it was outrageous.
Jesus Christ. Okay, so I'm looking at right here your feedback on the OGL 1.2 survey. It's already clear and we are acting on it. 62% are satisfied with adding the SRD to Creative Commons, and those dissatisfied want more in CC. 89% are dissatisfied with deauthorizing OGL 1.0A. 88% do not want to publish content under OGL 1.2. My
So
goodness.
the OGL 1.0A is the original OGL. That is the one that everyone was protecting. The OGL 1.2 was the one that they were trying to push out.
Did you mention what that would have done to the community? I know we
Yes.
mentioned.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, how much of a monopoly it would really be if they would have put in 1.2 and completely shoved 1.0 aside.
Specifically, like what they were asking. Weren't they asking for a quarter or near quarter?
Yeah.
Yes.
For royalties, yes.
Yes, for
They were
royalties.
asking for almost a quarter of royalties.
Not only that, they wanted you to pay for their own stamp of approval. Basically, if you were going to publish anything underneath them,
Right.
it had to be under their approval.
Which they could revoke and seize
Right.
at any time they desired.
Which is wild as hell.
So.
But yeah,
But after everything that's been going on, as of June 27th, they said that they were not going to touch the old OGL and such. So the old OGL has been saved as of for now, until they decide to ruin it all again.
So this is a temporary fix.
Most likely.
Oh, Jesus.
I wouldn't trust them as far as I would throw them. Like, from what they've done, it does not look like a lot of people plan on going back to them.
I don't blame him.
And then that is their mistake, which is understandable. I won't probably be going back to them. I'll probably just end up using it to purchase the books. That's it.
Yvonne, do you have anything to
Yeah,
add?
sorry.
My
I'm
bad.
trying my best not to interrupt.
That's fine. That's fine.
Yes, a lot of people are not going back, but my main concern are the people that are already back. Because I've been, even right now, and earlier when I was doing my research, people have already gone back to their subscriptions saying that they're glad that the OGL is back in place, or not being altered. And like you mentioned earlier, Ducky, that is just temporary until they decide they're going to try and alter things again, which will either be to no community or to whatever community they'll try to make their profit on.
Well, the way how I see it is this. For people that do come back, I mean, you're putting a lot of... I'm not going to say you're putting a lot of eggs in your basket thinking that they won't do this again, but the thing is, for me, is the fact that they went this route and the fact they went so far with all this and the community wasn't through with it, what it tells me is that trust is shattered. That trust is gone. Okay?
Oh, definitely. And
Especially since we've seen this before. Not with D&D, but particularly with companies that go this route of greed, and it never necessarily ends well for them. Not unless if your ass is Call of Duty, and even they know not to pull some of the dumb shit that was pulled with this situation.
a lot of it comes down to the fact that they're hiring people that don't understand
Right.
that community
Right.
or don't involve themselves in that community at all. Like I said, the CEO has nothing to do with Dungeons and Dragons. They came from Microsoft, and they're all about microtransactions.
And the crazy thing is, what's so crazy to me, and I guess maybe I'm looking at this too much from the Xbox point of view, is when it goes to Microsoft, when I look at them from an Xbox point of view, I'm like, okay, they're doing a relatively solid job at trying to just push out games and make it easier for everyone to, be chill. But, you tend to forget that the rest of Microsoft doesn't exactly look at the way they don't exactly look at the way how Phil Spencer runs things when it goes to his Xbox division. So, with that being said, yeah, I'm just a little surprised they wanted to go that route. With having to go with Microsoft in the first place, you couldn't have went with anyone else. That's what gets me. Is like, look, I
Right.
understand you wanted to make money, but not at the cost of you trying to not at the cost of you trying to destroy your own community. There are plenty of
Right.
ways that this could have been handled instead of you going over to a Microsoft rep that has absolutely zero to do with how the game works, let alone any trinkle of knowledge of how D&D works. And
Mhm.
all they know is just the business side of things. That's it. They're not gonna tell you anything else, but how to make your money. So. Yeah, like I said, I'm just surprised that this is where they were looking to go, and for anyone else in the community, it's like you said, it would not stun me if no one at all, period, goes back and they just look at other ways of trying to enjoy D&D instead of using this situation. In fact, speaking of that, for anyone that is trying to get into D&D, can you mention any alternatives that people can get into so that they won't, hop in with this one only to find out that a new OGL was out and and they're screwed. So
I personally would start looking into Pathfinder, and Cobalt Press had actually announced that they are be making their own system as well, on top of Paizo doing the same. From this entire thing, a lot of other companies now are announcing that they'll be making their own systems, and that it'll be under the original OGL.
Okay. Well, from what y'all can hear, there are other spots y'all can go into. Now y'all got the alternatives. Now's the time for you to head over there. And have your fun from there with the rest of the. I guess I should say the rest of the split community, split D&D community, because now y'all have options. That's way better compared to some situations where if there's a monopoly, then you can't really go anywhere. I'll put this out as an example. Let's take it like this. With sports, for an example. We know about the NFL, we know about the NBA, we know about how those two companies operate, and we know they do some very scumbag, some very fucked up shit. But the thing is, though, they're allowed to get away with this kind of situation because they have no one there that could really like compete with them, entirely. So it's like that's the only way I can really point it out to you. There's no true minor league basketball aside from the NBA's running of it with the G League. Other than that, there's no other ones. So that's why they're allowed to do the things that they do. And the same can be said for the NFL. There's no true minor league with the NFL. Period. Don't even how they look at it. The only minor league you have is, of course, college football, and then you transfer over to the NFL. So that might be changing a little bit, but I will talk about that later when it goes to sports. But basically, it goes to show you when you have such a stranglehold on a community with one specific thing, you're allowed to do the things that you want to do, and can't nobody do shit about it. So it sucks, and the same can be said for Twitch too. But might I add? I mean, yes, people are gonna be like, "Oh, there's YouTube, there's YouTube." Here's the deal: YouTube still doesn't have the things that Twitch has that make it so great. I mean, take it from my situation. If I sat up there and I moved from Twitch to YouTube full time, look at the stuff that I would be missing from Twitch that I worked hard to put into. The panels, like from below that you guys will see, you won't be able to see that on YouTube at all. The clips, there's no way. Well, I mean, I understand you could clip on YouTube, but it's not as, I would say, not as interactive or fun compared to how Twitch would do it. There would be a lot of key things missing that would make someone's stream great that Twitch already has at your disposal. And because of the fact that it has such a chokehold on it, said, look, I don't know if any other company's gonna be able to do with what to bring the similar features that Twitch has brought. But alas, we'll see how it'll all go. But yeah, since we're kind of winding down on this whole D&D thing, Yvonne, do you have anything you want to add with this? If not, that's absolutely fine. Ducky, if there's any last things you want to add with this, that's feel free.
Let's see. So far I can't think of anything unless anyone has questions about it. But as far as anything of this goes, as I said, I won't be probably going back to the D&D subscription. I'll just end up buying the books from their website because it's a lot cheaper than buying the hardcovers. And from what I know, we're looking into other options for playing our tabletop games. And again, there's a lot out there, and if you are looking for something in particular, it's probably already out there.
If you're looking to be a superhero like Justice League or Marvel, what I mentioned earlier, Mutants Masterminds. If you're looking for something a little bit more spooky and mysterious, I believe it's called, I have it written down here, Urban Shadows. A friend of mine put me on that.
Okay.
I have I've been learning D&D. I was first introduced to tabletops through 5e. I enjoy 5e a lot. It's definitely an okay system, but thanks to communities and other people I play with, I've been running some newer and different systems that are both superpower, sci-fi, fantasy, in their own like respective categories, and some are kind of like mixed into one system.
Hmm.
Okay. So, all right. So it looks like we can, actually put a close on this little discussion here. But yeah, if you guys ever want to talk more about D&D or games relating to this, you can feel free to look up Ducky, look up Yvonne. They're here in the Discord, they're here in the Guilded, they're here on both servers, and you guys can definitely feed them more information, or if y'all want to pick their brain on this, that's where you can go to. Hell, I'll try to pick their brain as much as I can, seeing as I'm trying to get into this at some point with Monster Hunter. And speaking of Choco, you did mention it earlier. It never slipped my mind. You was talking about Amarel having to take his version, his Monster Hunter D&D, and try to bring it over to Pathfinder. If he does that, by any chance, please show me the first chance you get with this, because I would be 200% for it. So please do. So the next thing I'm gonna have in mind to discuss is, of course, the Yu-Gi-Oh ban list. So again, Yvonne, Ducky, you're absolutely free to stick around with all of this. If not, you're free to go ahead and you're free to go ahead and talk about it, or you're free to go ahead and leave. It's entirely within your control. Also, one thing I do want to bring up here is the whip that Ducky has worked on so far, with the character
No.
reference. I had to bring this up first before we go ahead and move on to that. You said you can't access that Patreon, only your Patreon. Okay. When it starts to, I don't, because you're just now finding out about the information. I don't know how long is it they've been working on it. I'll sub to their Patreon again the first chance I get. It's just not gonna be right now. So this is their work right now.
It's a rough sketch, basically.
Yeah,
I'm
so-
getting all of the basic specs and everything.
Mm-hmm.
I even used like a 3D model to get the figure right.
Yep. She's
So.
been working on that for a minute.
Yep, damn. Oh wait, you used the VTuber model for this?
No, so I use the program Clip Studio Paint, and Clip Studio Paint provides 3D models that you can adjust and do whatever. And I
Okay.
just happened to use the 3D model for this one,
Gotcha,
which I don't
gotcha.
usually use the 3D models, but I enjoyed it.
Got you. Thank you so much for that. For this. So far, this is a nice little whip so far. Yeah, we'll definitely see where this will go a little later. I have been thinking about adding another outfit to him, but that will be like in later due time. But so far, this is very good. Thank you so much.
Yeah, no.
For the nice little whip. Can't wait to see. Can't wait. That's all I gotta say.
I can't wait either.
can't
It's
wait.
starting out. It's going well, surprisingly for myself.
Mhm.
Because I did the first rough draft and I hated it. I was like, screw this, and I just threw the entire thing away. And I was like, you know what? I'm gonna use the 3D model, and I did. I'm like, why did I just do this in the first place?
Got you. All right. But yeah, next thing, like I said, we're gonna talk about the Yu-Gi-Oh ban list. We're gonna talk about what had happened on the 24th. I do not think I was active at all on the 24th because my computer, my motherboard was not here yet. I wanted it to be here within the 25th, but it sadly could not happen. So, for this Yu-Gi-Oh ban list, it is kind of like It kind of came a little early for me. It kind of came out of nowhere, I should say, because the previous one we had covered. The previous one, I think we had covered the previous one. So cards to be unlimited right now. The Dino Wrestler Pankatrops. Okay. Okay, so Ducky confirmed they're gonna be heading off. So thank you so much, Ducky and Yvonne.
No problem.
Yes.
We enjoyed the conversation. Again, if anyone has questions, you can always DM us from Discord and such.
Okay. Thank you so much. Have a shout out for Ducky, please, for you, because Ducky, she does stream here and there. I do hope we can see her stream again, and I'm sure when you shout her out, you probably will see a clip of when she was playing Far Cry. I had to make sure I had to clip that because it was just absolutely
awful.
Brilliant.
It was awful. That scared me so bad.
Oh.
I still have that on my my Twitch.
Right. Oh goodness. She said here, you said here, they were already asking for damage block names. The conversion is already in whip. Oh, okay. Sweet. Jesus.
We'll be heading off then, and all of you guys have a lovely day.
You too, Ducky. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Stardew Valley coming soon.
Stardew Valley.
We have plans to do a Stardew Valley stream at some point.
Sorry for stealing your thunder.
What? I
I
had
can
to
within
cough.
arm's reach of you.
Oh my God.
Alright, we'll be going before anything else happens here.
Alright. But thank you so much.
Alright, you guys have a lovely day.
Alright,
You guys take care.
We'll do. Okay, so like I was saying, guys, we're gonna continue on with the Yu-Gi-Oh! Bandlist again. Thank you so much to Ducky Momo. Let me go ahead and that's fine. I'll go ahead and do the shout out. That's fine. Absolutely phenomenal people, Yvonne and Ducky. They're absolutely amazing. Let me go ahead and adjust that. 1 minute, my mom's calling me.
Yeah. Oh, Jesus Christ!
Oh my God. Absolutely amazing clip. I will forever love that clip. Don't care. Oh God. Oh Jesus Christ. Oh goodness. Oh goodness, Ducky. I can't wait till one day, you're able to come back to streaming. That was fucking brilliant. Oh God, but yeah, Dino Wrestler Pankatops. This card right here has gone from 2 to 3. Very, 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 very interesting. So basically, if you don't know what this card does, if your opponent controls more monsters than you do, you can special summon this card from your hand. You can only special summon Dino Wrestler Pankatops once per turn this way. You can tribute one Dino Wrestler monster and then target one card your opponent controls and destroy it. You can only use this effect once per turn. That goes from 2 to 3. In TCG and OCG, it's limited to 1. But for Master Duel, it will be unlimited. So it's going to be very curious to see how this is all going to go. Memories of Hope. This is a Numeron card. Memories of Hope. Draw cards equal to the number exceed monsters with different names that you control. You can only activate it once per turn. That goes from 2 to 3. I don't think anyone was really using it, but if you use Numerons, now would be the perfect time. Scapegoat 2 to 3. I don't think anybody gave a fuck about Scapegoat at all. So okay, the only time I see Scapegoat is in the anime. Danger! Jackalope By the way, GG Philadelphia 76ers. They win 105-94. Danger! Jackalope goes from 2 to 3. I already know how I feel about the dangers and using them in my zombie pack. So having to see Danger Jackalope get freed up from 2 to 3 is absolutely fine by me. I fail to see the problem. Double Iris Magician. If y'all don't know, I am still trying to learn. I'm still trying to learn pendulum. So being able to see that double Irish Magician is at 1.2 to 3. Not a problem with me because I have been. I'm still trying to learn and still trying to get it going. Now, Salamangreat. This is the perfect time. I'm gonna let y'all know right now. If you guys do not know how to do a link monsters deck, Salamangreat is the perfect. I repeat, the perfect deck for you to learn how to use link monsters, and you'll be able to get all 3 of the Salamangreat Gazelles from the structure deck. So being able to see that it's 2 to 3, I fail to see the problem. I'll be sure to add it in my Salamangreat deck. I like Salamangreats, but that's as far as I could throw it, as where it's only used as a beginner deck. When you start to get used to more and more link monsters, then I would say start to branch out. But Salamangreat so far, I fail to see a problem. In fact, Salamangreat's actually good to use when it goes to the Math Mech, which is currently one of, if not the best decks in the game to use. So Math Mech in a mix with Salamangreat, that's good by me. Curse Elland. If y'all know how I feel about Curse Elland, I'm not surprised that this goes from 2 to 3. Because Curse Elland doesn't really do all that good for you unless you are running a pure Eldritch deck, or unless if you have Eldritch in your deck and you're doing a mix of cards. So having to go from 2 to 3, I understand it, because Eldritch isn't really as powerful as it once was in the beginning of Master Duel. When it was in the beginning, then I understand it. But since now it's not, now it's, I guess it's okay to free it up a little. So cards be semi-limited. Grass looks greener, going from 3 to 2. If you're using a 60 card deck, this is a gut shot, because usually some cards would need Grass is greener to activate their graveyard effects. So to see that it's 3 to 2, it makes it harder to look for Grass looks greener. And so having to go from 3 to 2, it doesn't stun me too much. It might be because of some decks that made this go this route, but yeah, having to go from 3 to 2, I'm not surprised. There can only be one going from 3 to 2. I think I know exactly why this went from 3 to 2. You can blame the floodgates that currently that are currently in this game that made it go from 3 to 2. Each player can only control one monster of each type, and if a player controls 2 or more monsters of the same type, they must send some to the graveyard so that they control no more than one monster of that type. There are some cards, some decks that use this way too well, and some decks that forces you to stick with that one type of monster. So that's one way to break someone's board, actually, when they're not using this same type, when they're using different types. Be like, okay, one monster's water, one monster's fire. Well, bitch, you better pick one. For Grassless Greener, I'll tell you why. Because of why this hurts. Yeah, if you have more cards in your deck than your opponent does, this is all deck related. So say they're using 40 cards, you're using 60 cards. You basically send 20 cards from your deck to the graveyard. And so, this helps. Say if I'm running a 60 card zombie deck, right? You basically have to run Grass Looks Greener. So now with this situation, it hurts Grass Looks Greener because it's hard to search out. It was great to search out at 3. Now it's a little harder to search out at 2. Maybe we'll see how hard it truly is if you can still search for it with other cards. Dimension Shifter going from 3 to 2, I guess I'm not too surprised because there's some decks that actually use this perfectly. If you have no cards in your graveyard, you can send this card from your hand to the graveyard until the end of the next turn. Any card sent from the graveyard is banished instead. This is basically a semi-version of Dimension. I think Dimension Barrier, if I'm right. Dimension Fisher. Yeah, Dimension Fisher, where it's basically a continuous spell card where any cards you send to the graveyard, they immediately go to the bench. This is like a semi version of that, where it only lasts for a turn. So that's not too bad. Hell, some cards might actually do well when it goes to being banished. So we'll see. Infernity Launcher, going from 1 to 2. Once per turn, you can send one Infernity monster from your hand to the grave. You can send this card to the grave and then target up to 2 Infernity monsters in your graveyard and summon them. You must have no cards in your hand to activate this effect and for it to resolve. Okay, so if you use Infinities, then you'll see that this might be a good thing for you. Conquisitor of the Golden Land, going from 1 to 2. Again, I'm not surprised, because Eldritch is not as powerful as it used to be. So to see that it actually is switching from 1 to 2, it's okay with me, I guess. I mean, it's not as powerful as it once was. It's only used for just getting a card off the field. That's really all there is to it. Union Carrier. Ain't this some shit? My. Union Carrier, totally awesome. The 2 cards here that are on the forbidden list permanently. Union Carrier going from 3 to 2. I can tell you this right now. A ton of cards have been absolutely hit by this ban. If you use Cyber Dragons need this card. So Cyber Dragon End, Cyber Dart Dragon End, they use this in massive effect. So the fact that Union Carrier has officially been banned, it is going to get very, very interesting to see how people adjust their decks with the Union Carrier ban. The same can be said. Well, you know what hasn't been hit? The Mayakashi. Oh my god. Here's the massive hit. Just as much. I got the icon a day and a half. Hey, that's what the fuck I'm talking about, fool. You get that icon. Here's more of the massive hit. Totally Awesome has now also been hit. So I'm gonna say this right now. If you use water decks, that's a big hit. So for anyone that don't know what Totally Awesome does, once per turn during the standby phase, you can detach 1 Exceed material from this card, special summon 1 frog monster from your deck. Once per turn during either player's turn, when your opponent activates a spell or trap or monster effect, this goes either or, you can send 1 aqua type monster from your hand or face up to the field to the grave, negate the activation, and if you do, you also destroy the card. Then you can set it to your field. If this card is sent to the grave, you can target 1 water monster in your graveyard and add it to your hand. So that's a massive blow, seeing as you can no longer use Totally Awesome. In TCG, it's absolutely unlimited, which is absolutely fucking insane. But in the OCG and now Master Duel is officially on the ban list. So this ban list, you better enjoy Totally Awesome and Union Carrier while you can, because you got 5 days to enjoy it while you can, because come February 6th, this new ban list will officially be in effect. So let me go ahead and read what else. My last ranked match got me the rarest title in the entire game. That got me level 50 in the season pass. What was the rarest title? Because I don't exactly know. Wait, did you get the... What rank are you? What rank are you? Unfathomable. Okay, what rank are you? I think I got that too. I'm not sure. Only silver, and you got that shit? That's fucking crazy to me. Wow, that's impressive. I'm looking at some of the comments here. Nice to see some Eldritch cards ban list hits being lifted. Eldritch cards were never a problem. It's all the floodgates that were causing issues majorly. And personally, I think they should be either banned or at least limited. But that's just me. Yes, for you. I'll go ahead and read it. And I'm saying this as an Eldritch player. They should have banned That Grass Looks Greener though, not semi-limited. But this could change. Who knows? Depending on tier limits later. Ooh, tier limits might be coming. You have to win a duel without normal summoning or setting anything at all. Wow. I think I probably did get that. I'm not sure. I don't know. Totally awesome being banned as Screaming Sprites preliminary hit. People will most likely be playing Tearlament Sprites, Runic Sprites, Live Twin Sprites, or Tri Brigade Sprites. Salmon Gazelle being out of the ban list is long overdue. As a Salmon Great fan, I'm glad. So basically, this person already spoiled of what may be happening in Master Duel a little later on. I'm going to say this right now. Salmon Great and Sprites in the official Yu-Gi-Oh game and official trading card game and the OCG, TCG, Salmon Greats and Sprites practically run Master Duel right now. At the moment, it's math. I'm sorry, they run Yu-Gi-Oh right now. At the moment, it's all math mech, but to point it out here, it's 3 decks that basically run Yu-Gi-Oh. There's Tearlaments, there's Sprites, and then there's math mechs. Math mechs used to run everything. And then after that came the Sprites, and then after that came the Tearlaments. So that's how it goes, 1 through 3. You can't go wrong with either one of these 3. Hell, you might have a good matchup with one of them. You might not. Let me see this right here. My opponent special summoned a card, tried to get me to discard something. I didn't have a card I could discard, so they just sat there and timed out. Wow, that's fucking insane. That's fucking insane. So, I'm going to go ahead and show y'all real quick what the Tearlaments and Sprites does. So, we're going to start with the Sprites. Combo Sprite explained. We're going to take a look. The best way we know how. Thank you to Duel Logs for covering Sprites and why is it that they're so powerful. I'm not going to look at a whole 13-minute video, but I will be able to we will be able to look at a good bit of this and see why Sprites is so dominant like they are.
Sprite card revolves around the number 2, level 2, link 2, and rank 2. By controlling any level 2 monster, you can special summon any Sprite monster from your hand, or you can special summon them from your deck using Sprite Starter, and each Sprite monster has a different on-field effect. Red and Carrot protect you from hand traps.
If you guys want a link to this, I'll put it in Duelist chat.
Monster effects, and Carrot can negate spell and traps.
You can look at the full video yourself.
Blue and Jet search for any Sprite card in your entire deck upon their special summon. Blue allows you to search for any Sprite monster, and Jet allows you to search for any Sprite spell or trap, usually a Sprite Smashers or Sprite Double Cross to strengthen end boards, or Sprite Starter if you need access to more level 2 bodies. And these bodies can be used to facilitate the Sprite extra deck monsters. Sprite Elf, which can revive any level, link, or rank 2 monster from the graveyard at quick effect speed. Sprite Sprint, which can foolish any level 2 monster, and Gigantic Sprite, which can special summon
I expect to see a lot of Sprite
What's done with
cards
these extra deck
with
pieces
the
will often
if
depend
it
on what
is
deck
coming to
you're placed
Master
in,
Duel.
but a single Sprite Starter gives you enough level 2 bodies to go into any of these extra deck monsters, making it really valuable for decks that have specific level 2 monsters they want to summon or foolish. The Sprite's engine ratios are fluid and will often vary on the deck using them. Some decks run a very expansive Sprite engine consisting of
The same will be for Tearlaments. I'll go ahead and put up a
consistency,
link for the
as well
Tearlaments
one
as
red,
well
one
when
carrot,
we're
and one
finished with this.
smashers and or double cross to strengthen end boards, alongside multiple Gigantic, Elf, and or Sprints in their extra deck. Other decks will sometimes run a smaller Sprite package, however, consisting of only one Jet, a Smashers, and sometimes one Blue. This is to take advantage of Dehark, the Dark Charmer, which can revive an opponent's Sprite
Ooh,
Blue
I remember
while
having
using
this
something
card. I
like
got rid of it.
Search. And some
The
decks will
Dark
only
Charmer.
run Sprite monsters in the extra deck. This is because most of the main decks don't synergize with level 2 monsters, but level 2 monsters are still beneficial in some way to the strategy. Now, let's get into what Sprite cards can actually do. Starting off with the monster card lineup. Sprite Blue is a dark level 2 thunder monster that can be special summoned from the hand by controlling
From
either a
here
level or rank 2 monster
to
once per
the
turn.
3-minute
And
mark
special summon
is
can
when
add
I will
any
stop.
Sprite monster from your deck to your hand. Essentially, Blue acts as one of the keys to the entire engine, in a similar way to how Stratos acts as the key searcher for hero decks, and gives Sprite a ton of consistency, which is why decks that rely on Sprite engines will run Blue at 3 copies. What Sprite monster you search will depend on your current situation, as Sprite has a number of versatile options to suit your hand and the game state. You could search for Sprite Red. Red, like Blue, is a level 2 thunder monster that can special summon itself from your hand once per turn, provided you control a level 2 monster. But unlike Blue, Red is a fire monster, and you can also summon itself out if you control a link 2 monster, but not a rank 2 Xyz monster. The reason why you'd want Red specifically is because it's a really effective tool at playing around common hand traps such as Ash Blossom and Effect Veiler. You see,
Ooh.
Red's on-field effect allows you to tribute a level, link, or rank 2 monster you control when your opponent activates a monster effect in order to negate that effect, and if you tributed a link or rank 2 monster, you get to destroy that monster as well. This makes it an incredible end board tool, as not only does Red provide you with a monster negate for your opponent's turn, it can also be used to remove bodies from your opponent's field. This is particularly important when facing other Sprite decks, as by removing a level 2 body from the field, you can cut off access to all of the Sprite monsters in their hand and prevent them from comboing. But if you're less worried about Ash Blossom and Effect Veiler, and are more worried about Imperm and Evenly Matched, you can instead choose to search for Sprite Carrot. Carrot has the same summon condition as Sprite Red, allowing you to summon if you control a level or link to a monster, and its on-field effect is quite similar, but instead of negating monster effects, Sprite Carrot can instead tribute a level, link, or rank to.
Okay, I did say I was gonna stop there. He was talking about Sprite Blue and Sprite Care and all this shit, and I say yeah, that needs to stop. Okay, so I'll go to the tier limits now. Hopefully he has a video up on the tier limits. If not, that's fine. I'll go ahead and find some way. Wow, I'm surprised he really doesn't have one up on the tier limits. Danger tier limits. So that's gonna be very, 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 very interesting. I'm gonna definitely take a look at that a little later on my own time. So we're gonna look at it from here.
Hello everyone, Golden Nova here. The latest core set in the OCG, Power of the Elements, just dropped, and that means we've got a lot of new art. So what's the deal with Tiara Laments? Well, they're a series of dark attribute aqua-type monsters that, if sent to the graveyard by a card effect, and I mean any card effect, you can fusion summon any fusion monster, and I mean any fusion monster, from your extra deck by placing fusion materials mentioned on it from your hand, field, or grave to the bottom of your deck in any order, including this card in your grave. So while you aren't able to Miracle
Fusion
card
on
in
legs.
you can make quite a few that require generic
That's
enough
funny.
materials to encompass dark attribute aqua-type monsters. And boy howdy do we have some targets for that. But for now, let's talk about the theme proper, starting with Tiara Laments Meru, a level 2 monster.
I'm gonna go from here up to 3 minutes as well. Well, at least after this is done being explained, I'll go ahead and stop from there.
Dante Mill 3 in the morning. While not doing anything themselves, Meru only has to trip one grave effect to make their summon worthwhile, and with proper deck building, you'll find the odds of that to be quite high. Heck, even hitting another Tiara Lament means triggering a fusion summon, which gives you a pretty good vector to hammer away at your opponent.
Because we have more to cover today. That's why I'm not going to talk about it. I'm not going to have all this up entirely.
Activates a monster effect on the field as a quick effect. You can special summon this card from your hand, and if you do, send the top 3 cards of your deck to the grave. This is absolutely an incredible card. While not exactly a powerhouse when going first, it's incredible during almost any other stage of the game, even during your own turn if your opponent has on-board quick effect ready monsters. You can even play during turn 1 when your opponent's on the play, by chaining to any on-field starter, milling 3, and potentially hitting even more gas before you even draw for turn. And a bonus, you don't even have to worry about getting run over in the battle phase, cause they won't have one. In fact, I wouldn't be surprised to see this card seeing play in any grave-reliant deck as a way to throw more cards into the grave even quicker. Heck, I'm already thinking of putting it in PK Fire. It's a level 3 Dark for crying out loud. They knew what they were doing. How could I not take a stab at it? Tiara Laments.
Okay, so basically, to put it simply, with tier elements, basically, if you're using a zombie deck that is heavily relying on graveyard effects, you should take a look at tier limits. Absolutely take a look. I'm not saying add it in as a full on thing, but take a look as a side thing because it might help make your decks just be a little bit more stronger. So for me, that's why I'm definitely taking a look at tier limits, because y'all know how much I love to use a zombie deck. Y'all know how much I love to use any graveyard effect decks to basically mess up an opponent, because for anyone that don't know, back then with Yu-Gi-Oh! The graveyard used to be just that, the graveyard. But since now you have the banish along with the graveyard can be used as another hand. So for me, having to see another graveyard effect card, and this one in particular being a massive deal of a graveyard use card, I'm gonna definitely take advantage of using the tier limits, because like I said, I can see this coming. Tier limits and zombies, that's gonna be a problem, and it's dark, that's really gonna be a problem. So Chaos Ruler loves this card. loves this deck already, because Chaos Ruler requires either one light or one dark monster, and then after that you can mill cards. If you're all about sending your cards to the grave and triggering their effects, you're going to love mixing Tearlaments in with your current deck, or using Tearlaments straight up. Sprites, it's very, very versatile from what I can see. Sprites blue, Sprites red, Sprites whatever, and the cards they put out are like level 3s, level 4 Exceed monsters. Yeah, I will definitely take a look at it, but Sprites for me look a little bit more, I guess, complicated to use compared to, say, Tearlaments. So we'll see how both of them will do. But yeah, I'll put them both. Yeah, I put them both in the duels chat, so if you guys want to look at all of them on your own time, you're free to, because they're pretty long videos. I only want to stop at a certain point and then continue on with the rest of the video. So I will say this: Tearlaments, from what I know so far, they're going to be coming a little later in Master Duel, but Sprites will be first up. So be prepared to see some Sprite cards if you are going up in the ladder in Master Duel. Now you probably won't see it in silver or bronze ranks because people are just chilling out, they're vibing. But if you're going up to gold, diamond, platinum, whatever, which you're guaranteed to probably see them if they come out. While the ban list is in effect. So be on the ready for that. It's already bad enough we have to deal with Runic, but here's the deal: I probably would rather deal with Sprites than deal with Runic. That's all I really have to say off that. So next thing we're gonna discuss. Well, not next thing yet, but I do want to say this. These cards, I can't wait to see how they'll do. In Master Duel. I really can't wait. All I've heard about is how powerful they are. Well, we'll see, because come Master Duel, it could be an entirely different thing, because every format is different when it goes to Yu-Gi-Oh! As far as I'm concerned, they all handle it differently. One hand, one area, one card area is banned. Another in another situation, it's not banned. In fact, it's there. It's fine. So Master Duel, so to speak, we'll really see how this is going to be handled in Master Duel. I can't wait to see what Sprites and Tearlaments bring to the table. If anything, for me, I feel like Tearlaments is just going to be another extension. That's what I'm going to really use it for until I feel like I want to use a full deck with this. I feel like it's going to be just another extension into me using more cards to trigger off their effects. Like, I can see this coming. I can see myself using Tearlaments along with Shiranui's. Or I can see Tearlaments working with, say, Mayakashi's, or the Doom King, or whatever and what forth. You know what I mean? I can see decks like this making zombie decks way more powerful than it should. And honestly, I fucking welcome it. I don't got a problem with it. But we'll see. They said the best way to use Tearlaments, or the best way to use Sprites, the best way to use Tearlaments is the Shizu cards, but the Shizu cards aren't here yet. So I think you're free to go ahead and mix it up and use it however you see fit. Next, we're going to talk about some sports. But before we talk about some sports, I need to ask, does anyone else have any thoughts when it goes to these decks? Fuyu or Game Day, if y'all have any thoughts when it goes to the Tearlaments and Sprites, which decks do you think is going to be a little bit more fun for you to use? Or if you feel like it's going to be overpowered, this or that, feel free to go ahead and give your thoughts with this. For me personally, I feel like it's like this. For me, it's going to be powerful, yes. It's going to be very powerful. But for me, I don't think I'm going to use it entirely, unless if I have to. I will if I have no choice. But for me, I think Tearlaments with zombies is going to be a problem that people are kind of overlooking. If it's used correctly, it can definitely be a problem. I mean, you can fusion summon, you can synchro summon. That's some great variety, you know what I mean? Having the fusion and having a synchro summon, all at the same time. So we'll see how it will all go. Oh God. I'm looking at the comments here. There's nothing to really be said with this. Okay, so we'll see. Well, Master Duel Forbidden List. We will definitely see. Okay. So next thing. Oh yeah, I'm gonna also make sure I link this here. How to beat tier limits, how to beat sprites. I will link them as well in the duels chat. So if you guys feel like if these cards come out and you're having problems with how to beat them, you have links on how to beat both these cards, both these decks. I'm sure this person put out some solid vids on how to beat them. There's counter guides to them. Meta decks can be beaten. This is not new. Hell, we've seen this before plenty of times. Evan Stanley. Whoa, hold up. Evan Stanley trended? Okay. For me, I guess Evan Stanley deserves the trend because they put out some very good, you know, they have a very good comic. I love having to see Evan Stanley works. But like I said, I'm going to continue to move on. The next thing we're going to talk about is Jay Briscoe. So, for anyone unaware, I'm going to switch a little bit on sports. Jay Briscoe, for anyone that does not know, he sadly passed away. He sadly passed away. You know, a week ago or so. Yeah, but yeah, it's a whole week since he sadly died. And it was tough. You know, it was extremely tough. So for anyone that does not know who Jay Briscoe is, Jay Briscoe basically, he was an amazing wrestler. You know, when I first started to tune in to Ring of Honor, I started tuning in with it in 2016, 2017, so to speak. One of the first matches I saw was, I believe, 15 or 14 as well. One of the first matches I saw was Jay Briscoe versus, of course, Kevin Owens, who at the time, of course, using his real name, Kevin Steen. And Jay Briscoe beat Kevin Owens for the Ring of Honor title. And still to this day, this will never forget in my mind, is when Kevin Owens said this. He said, what was his favorite moment in wrestling? He mentioned this match in particular was his favorite in wrestling. Being able to lose the ROH title to Jay Briscoe. Now, I don't know if it's okay to go ahead and show here on stream. I can go ahead and link y'all the match. If there is a full match of this, I will have no problem having to link you guys this match, because this match pretty much, you know, it made a lot of people in the wrestling world happy, because Jay Briscoe absolutely deserved it at the time. He deserved it then, and he sure as hell deserved it now. But I don't know if it's okay to watch. I will definitely be looking at the eulogy. I'll definitely look at the funeral for Jay Briscoe, because, you know, he was amazing. You know, cutting promos. Yeah. Cutting promos, you know, having to hang out, having to be with him. But yeah, it was just, he was great. You know, for me, it was already tough enough having to see when I found out that, you know, when the voice actor for Batman, you know, it was already tough enough to know that he was gone, but now I gotta look at 2023 as the, you know, the day, you know, the year that Jay Briscoe just, you know, was gone. And it really does hurt. So, but I will say this though, Jay Briscoe put out amazing matches that we can all look back upon, especially his last match being with his brother versus FTR, which was an amazing match in of itself. So I thank Jay Briscoe. You know, I don't know, you know, I know that he doesn't know me. I know that he doesn't know a lot of people, but hey, look, he has a great fan base, and his fan base is definitely gonna miss him. His brother is gonna miss him. His friends, his family is gonna miss him. So I definitely thank him for the amazing matches that he put on for me, that he put on, for everybody that got the chance to watch. Because, anytime I see the Briscoes are on TV or anywhere in the pay-per-view, I'm gonna get locked into watching it because they were intense. They knew what they were doing in that ring, and they definitely knew what they were doing when it goes to building up a match. So thank you for that. Now, here's where my problem lies, is when it goes to WB. Right? Now, WB made it so that Mark Briscoe could appear in AEW Dynamite. Here's where my problem lies. My problem lies in the fact that they held onto a grudge. They held onto something that clearly Jay Briscoe regretted it. Where he put out a tweet or a statement when it went to a homophobic statement, I believe at the time. Correct me if on that. Jay then apologized for that statement, and he said he's not that kind of person, at least not what he used to be. He's a completely changed man, and what bothered me with this is WB held on to this grudge for so long. Way too long, in fact, to the point where Jay and Mark Briscoe, both of them, were punished in a sense where they could never appear in AEW television. You see where this is going, right? You see where this is really about to go. You hold on to a problem that Jay apologized for, that he shows that he's not that kind of man for. At least not what he used to be, completely changed. You can change. Was he fucked up for saying it? Yes, and he owned up to that. So, to do this, you're going to punish him forever. You're going to punish him forever until a situation like this comes across, and now all of a sudden it's all a water under the bridge. When Jay died, when we got the news that Jay Briscoe died, Warner Brother made it worse. They showed their hand for me. What they did was that when Jay Briscoe died, and everyone was wearing armbands to commemorate Jay Briscoe, the wrestlers said that they wanted to do more. They wanted to do more to showcase their love for Jay Briscoe, but they couldn't because WB, the directors for WB, would not let them. Not only that, Tony Khan was forced against his hand, was tied, had hands tied behind his back. As much as he wanted to show his love for Jay Briscoe, he couldn't because his board of directors were told that he couldn't do it. Because of a long grudge that they have for Jay Briscoe's comments years ago. When Jay long owned up to that. You see where I have a problem with this. My problem with this is y'all couldn't let it go like how Jay Briscoe let it go. You couldn't let it go like how the rest of the wrestling fan base let that shit go. But you want to know what's so fucking wild to me? There's a lot of fucked up shit that WB let slide. And I'm not going to get into those, but there's a lot of fucked up things that WB let slide. God forbid Jay Briscoe owns up to an apology owns up to an apology of a homophobic thing that he said, and you punish him forever. But there are people that have done and said way worse than what he had said. And what really drives this home for me as the worst possible thing is you waited till Jay Briscoe died to finally put any of the Briscoes on TV. Had it been Mark, had it been Jay, it's still fucking disgusting to me. The way how Warner Brothers handled this, for me, it just speaks a lot about how fucked up WB really, really is. And, it shouldn't surprise me because, like I said, there's plenty of things that they let slide with people that did way worse. But this is fucking crazy to me. What's more crazy to me is this. WWE, who didn't even want to sign Jay Briscoe. Period. They wanted nothing to do with him. But WWE handled it so much more better than how Warner Brothers did. They mentioned him on TV. They let Kevin Owens wear the armband says "Love Jay." They let WWE wrestlers. It's crazy to me because how it was crazy to me with this. Obviously, after the whole Royal Rumble event, Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens immediately went over to Jay Briscoe's funeral, and WWE allowed it to happen. Insane to me how a rival company handled the situation so much more better. And I thank WWE for that. We shit on them for a ton of things, but I thank them for allowing the wrestlers that really knew Jay Briscoe and was really with him to go ahead and, honor him the way that they did. They couldn't do much, obviously, because he never worked for them. But they did enough to be like, you know what? Yeah, we can go ahead and give a round of applause for allowing them to go ahead and, handle that. Whereas compared to WB, it's so fucking bad with how they handled it. Tony Khan at one point had to put his fucking foot down, and I'm happy he did it too, because it's not his fault that he had to sit up there and tell wrestlers, no, we can't do this, we can't do that. It's fucking crazy to me. I really hope after this that WB will be, I hope they learn their lesson. I really fucking do. Do I think they will? No. They're going to continue to let more bullshit slide. But I hope they learn their lesson. That's all I can really say with this. That's all I can really say with this. It shouldn't have taken a tragedy for the Briscoes, any of the Briscoes, to be allowed on TV. It shouldn't have taken a tragedy for the owner of AEW to put his foot down and be like, yo, let this shit fucking happen. It shouldn't have taken a severe tragedy. And on top of that, not even Tony Khan. The community had to speak up and say that this shit is wrong for what you're pulling. It shouldn't have taken any of this for them to open their eyes and be like, nah, bro, let's go ahead and cut this. Let's go ahead and stop. You should know right from wrong. You should know right from wrong. But, yeah, to end it off that, if I had to say, for Jay Briscoe matches, like I said, look at the one with Kevin Steen and Jay Briscoe for the Ring of Honor World title when he won his first Ring of Honor World title. You can look at the matches between him and his brother Mark. And you can look at, there's plenty of matches. Hell, even him and Samoa Joe. So yeah, definitely take a look. Take a look back at those matches, and of course, last but not least, take a look back at his last match which was him and his brother, Mark versus the FTR for the Ring of Honor World Titles. That was his final match, period in wrestling, which is a shame. But yeah, definitely take a look. It was great. He had a great wrestling career. Now I don't know what's gonna happen with Mark Briscoe now, seeing as he's without his brother, but I'm sure he'll have a ton of support at his side with wrestling as a whole, with the community as a whole, not just with Tony Khan, not just with AEW, but with everyone in the wrestling community as a whole. Because having to lose someone like that, it's tough. Not just a family, not just a wrestler, not just a family man. And it's definitely doubly tough for Mark because he has to take care of not just his family, he has to take care of his brother's family now, all by all by himself. So it'll be interesting. Yeah, I'm sure. I hope he'll be okay. I pray he'll be okay. If anyone has any thoughts to talk about with with Jay Briscoe, or the Briscoes in general, now's the time to go ahead and discuss them. But for me, I couldn't have put it any more better than how I could personally put it with Jay Briscoe. Dude, when you see him wrestle, he was fucking intense. And that's what made it so damn great, was that he intense, he was no bullshit. He just spoke to what was on his mind, plain and simple. When you look at it as him as a wrestler, but then you see so much more of it with him as a family man, where he's just, he's great with his kids. He's great with his kids. He's great with his friends. He's great with his brother. He's great with anybody that comes, that anyone that gets the opportunity to meet him. So yeah, like I said, I hope with Jay Briscoe, he reached for the sky, all right. He definitely reached up for the sky, and he's great. What the hell happened with Deshaun Jackson? But yeah, the next thing I'm gonna talk about here, I'm gonna definitely take a look at the eulogy here. I'm gonna look at that on my own time. If y'all want to go ahead, they got the funeral service right here. Yeah, like I said, I'm gonna definitely look at that on my own time. If y'all wish to take a look at it for yourself, I will go ahead and happily send y'all the link. But I will definitely take a look at this. The next thing I'm gonna talk about is, of course, some sports. It was bound to happen. Well, we already talked about sports with Jay Briscoe, but we're gonna talk about this with the NFL. So this was bound to happen. Y'all know this was coming. Now, I was gonna talk about the divisional game. I was definitely gonna cover that and talk about that. But now we moved on to bigger and better things. Here we go. Pause is Monster Hunter. Yep, because it's about to get nutty. So we're going to talk. Yo, we're going to talk about this. It was about time. So the Philadelphia Eagles, man, they did it. They haven't done it entirely yet, but they did it. So the Eagles' path to the playoffs. We're going to talk about the path to the playoffs. So their path with the playoffs start first throughout the regular season. Right? The Eagles lost 3 times. They won 14 times out of the regular season. And that netted them a first round bye in the playoffs. The Eagles, their first opponent was the New York Giants. They beat them 38-7. And of course, their second opponent was the San Francisco 49ers. Oh, we'll talk about them in a little bit, for you. Don't worry. Their second opponent was the San Francisco 49ers, who of course got here smoking hot. They got here by beating the Cowboys 19-12. And the Eagles beat them 31-7. By the way, people, I need to go ahead and point this out there. That is the clap cheeks of the week. All the Eagles have been doing throughout the playoffs is clapping cheeks, because the only time the opponent gets something is a touchdown, and that's it. They don't get nothing else. That's crazy to me, because they're the first team in NFL history to basically shut down opponents like this, where they only hold them to 7 points. 14 points allowed in these playoffs, while they're out here putting up 69 points. Because 31 plus 38, right? 69. But absolutely insane how the Eagles have sat up there and they've completely just dominated the competition that they are supposed to dominate. Now, I'm going to go ahead and talk about the NFC game, of course. They go up against the San Francisco 49ers, where a lot of questions was being asked with this game, such as how was the Eagles going to be able to handle Brock Purdy, and it looks like to me they handled them the best way they know how, through pass rush, through defensive line pressure. And they did nothing but that, where they sat up there and they went after the quarterback relentlessly. Brock Purdy he went out for the game, his fourth pass. His fourth and his final pass after that, Hassan Reddick came in and pretty much does the only thing Hassan Reddick can do, and that's make plays. The biggest question heading in for the 49ers, and I knew this was a question they weren't going to be able to answer, is how the hell are you going to be able to stop the Eagles pass rush? Because the Eagles pass rush is not the Cowboys pass rush. As y'all have seen, they beat the Cowboys 19-12, 19-13, but when you look back at that game, instead of looking at it through the stat sheet, they were in a struggle with the Cowboys that whole time. If Tony Pollard had stayed in that game, they would have really fucked up the 49ers, in my opinion. They had trouble stopping Tony Pollard more than people realize. They had trouble stopping Tony Pollard. They had trouble stopping the passing game. Now, in this game, this wasn't the case. Jalen Hurts actually did not do much, if anything, in this game. As you can see, Jalen Hurts went 15 of 25 for 121 yards. He didn't pass for a touchdown, but this was the bigger story right here. Instead of being like fly Eagles fly, throwing it through the air, the Eagles were like run Eagles run. Nah, we're gashing your shit. And the Eagles, all four Eagles players, might I add, they all averaged over 3 yards per carry. Over 3 yards. Miles Sanders, 3.8 yards per carry. Kenneth Gainwell, 3.4 yards per carry. Jalen Hurts, 3.5 yards per carry. Boston Scott, 3.5 yards per carry. Insane that they ran this much on the 49ers, who were one of, if not the best at stopping the run. But not only that, though, it was their defense that they basically helped win us the game. Like I said, Hassan Reddick pretty much knocked Brock Purdy out of the game. Brock Purdy, when we found out later on he suffered a torn UCL in his elbow, he actually is going to require Tommy John surgery. That's the kind of surgery I would see from the MLB, not from the NFL. So hopefully he will be okay. We will see him next season. But for the Eagles D-line, man, I'm telling you, it's not just Reddick that you have to cover. You have to cover literally everybody on the motherfucking team. Everybody on the defensive line. So here's the deal. Yes, Hassan Reddick is the most dangerous threat with that defensive line right now. The best pass rusher. But just because he's the best pass rusher, that does not mean you sleep on anyone else on that team. Three of the other pass rushers aside from him can and will get after your quarterback, as it was blatantly shown. Blatantly shown. Yes, the 49ers have Trent Williams. But here's the problem, though. There's no one else on that offensive line that could cover 3 other defensive linemen on the Eagles team who average over 10 plus sacks. Damn near everybody on the Eagles team average over 10 plus sacks. Brandon Graham, 10 plus sacks. Hassan Reddick has 16, 17 sacks on the season. His career high. Milton, who else? Josh Sweat, 10 plus sacks. And last but not least, Javon Hartgrave, over 10 plus sacks. You see why it's so difficult to contain a team like this. You can't just double team one because the other is going to get through and fucking wreck your quarterback shit. How do you stop that? I don't know. I legitimately don't know. The only way you stop this pass rush is you just have to pray they don't get home. You have to basically hold on to them every fucking play. Now, here's the deal, right? There's some controversy when it goes to how Hassan Reddick went about hitting Brock Purdy. And I've been seeing it a lot coming from Niners fans or football fans in general. And here's where my problem lies, okay? And I'm sure y'all ready to hear this. Now, I'm sure I'm probably not allowed to look back. I'm probably not allowed to look at clips. But I need to go ahead and do this. I have to do this for an all-22, okay? I have to, because then if I don't, it won't get the point across any more than it already has. And it's not just with this. It's not just with the Hassan Reddick sack. It's with the Devontae Smith play as well. So I'm gonna go ahead and right here, right on time too, just the exact one I'm looking for. So we're gonna go ahead and take a look at this play, right? This is the exact play that got Brock Purdy hurt. I believe this is the exact play. Here it is right here. You see Hassan Reddick? Look where he's lined up against. Now, I'm going to say this right here since I'm going to put this on pause. Follow my mouse cursor, okay? This is where my mouse cursor is above. This is the right tackle for the San Francisco 49ers. This is the right tackle. 1, 2, 3 is the center. 4 is the left guard. 5 is Trent Williams, the left tackle right here, number 71 with the red sleeves. 1 through 5. 1 through 5. 1 through 5. Who are these other two? You're going to ask. These other two are tight ends. Now, you could really be able to tell if you look at their build. You see the offensive linemen, they're a lot more bulky, they're a lot more stocky, while a tight end is a lot more leaner. And they're mainly used either as a receiving option or a blocking option. They try to be as versatile as possible when it goes to tight ends. This is where my problem lies. Okay? And you can look at Kyle Shanahan of the San Francisco 49ers as a massive blame for this. Hassan Reddick is a defensive end. His main job is to get after the quarterback no matter what. He has to stop him from throwing this ball. That's his job. That's what he's paid for. He's been paid 4 years to stop quarterbacks from throwing the ball. Let's go ahead and let it play. He's up against a tight end. A backup tight end, no less. This is the second string tight end. The first string tight end is George Kittle. He's right here, lined up right next to Fletcher, right next to the offensive tackle here. He's between these two. He's right in the middle of these two. So this is gonna play. This is gonna play. Right here, this is already a mismatch. You see where this is going. Hassan Reddick already got this dude. He got his hips facing sideways already. This is way before Brock Purdy gets a chance to go ahead and actually get to see the field. I'm going to go ahead and let this continue playing. Bam. You see, I'm looking at this right here. I'm gonna go ahead and put this on slow motion real quick. This is a massive mismatch. Already here, he already beats the backup tight end. This is way too easy. Hassan Reddick did this. He's been on fire, bro. Not only that, Fletcher Cox beat his man too, so that's not helping. And of course, the rest is history. We know what happened after this. This was called a fumble. And it became Eagles ball. Not only that, Brock Purdy has been knocked out of the game with an elbow injury. So, all in all, guess what? Who do you blame in this situation? I want y'all to go ahead and answer this when y'all have the time. Who do you blame in this situation? You have Hassan Reddick, a defensive end who's known for getting after the quarterback and the best pass rusher on the Philadelphia Eagles, going after a backup tight end, going against a backup tight end. Number 2 tight end. I gotta tell you, I wish a head coach or offensive coordinator would sit up there and disrespect the team's best pass rusher like this. This is the exact consequence you're gonna get. If anybody got Brock Purdy hurt in this game, you should take a look at Kyle Shanahan, the head coach of the 49ers. Why on God's green earth would you put a team's best pass rusher against a backup tight end? And y'all have the nerve to sit up there and blame Hassan Reddick and say, oh, this is a dirty hit, this is a dirty hit, this is this and that. When your head coach decides to be an idiot and let this happen. Not once. What's so crazy is this. Not once that this happened in this exact same game. Not once did this happen in this exact same game. Hold up. Let me see if I can find it real quick. See? This happened twice. This happens twice in the same game. Both times you sat up there and you put Hassan Reddick versus a backup tight end or versus a tight end, period. Hassan Reddick is going to win that battle. Now, here's where the problem lies, okay? For some reason, look at it, completely untouched. The tight end is all the way over here on the left side of the field. So what he's asking is this right here. Look where my cursor is, guys, if you guys can. He's asking this guy here, right next to the left tackle, he's asking this guy here to come over from his left side to block Hassan Reddick. He's asking him to go horizontal to block Hassan Reddick, who's one of the best downfield pass rushers in the league right now. That's what he's asking him to do. This did not work at all. And then you wonder why he came free the way that he did. I'm going to see if I can have my mouser follow him. See? Not going to work. He's too fast for you to run at horizontally when he could just straight line down the field, get after your quarterback. So not once but twice did he do this. I'm going to say this right now. The only team, and this was back then, the only team that could do this, where they could put a tight end on a defensive end, is the New England Patriots back then. You want to know why they were allowed to do this? Because they had a freak of nature known as Rob Gronkowski at tight end, who's literally built like a freaking defensive end. That should be the only team to be allowed to do this. It's more crazy, right? Because in that same game, not just the 49ers did it, the Eagles did it too. And they got lucky. The Eagles were backed up into their own 5-yard line. And the Eagles tried to send a tight end against Nick Bosa, the 49ers defensive end that has been on a tear this year. The Eagles almost paid for it by giving up a safety. Whereas Nick Bosa stops Jalen Hurts, but just at the line, so Jalen Hurts could stretch the ball out and make sure that he doesn't cause a safety. The Eagles almost paid for it themselves. They got lucky. The fact of the matter is, no team should be doing this, especially against the team's best pass rusher. The Vikings did this 5 years ago. People don't remember this. The Vikings did this 5 years ago. Derek Barnett coming around the edge, and he causes a strip sack on Case Keenum, and Chris Long recovers the ball and gives the Eagles tons of momentum that the Vikings did not need. Because I believe it was 7-0. I believe it was 7-7. Oh, it was tied until that happened. And then after that, the Eagles just basically took off. And they never looked back. 5 years later, we get the same instance. So, at some point in time, y'all going to learn to put some respect on Hassan Reddick's name. This man is the defensive player of the year to me. I understand people want to say it's Nick Bosa, but right now, this man right here, number 7, has been showing up when it matters the most. And if the Eagles win the Super Bowl, it's probably going to be because of Hassan Reddick, who's been on the tear. The man for me, I might as well change his name. He's not Hassan Reddick, he's Hassan Miller, because guess what? Von Miller did exactly this in the playoffs, where he just gave teams hell. And when it came to the Super Bowl, he did exactly that by becoming Cam Newton's worst nightmare. I expect him to do this come the Super Bowl, because Hassan Reddick is just a monster. And the reason why I expect him to do this, because look, he did this against the 49ers offensive line. Who's to say he's not going to do this against the next team we're about to cover? Who's to say he's not going to do this against their offensive line, who's very much a tier below the 49ers? But there isn't really much to show from here. All I know is this: the Eagles, they did what they had to do. They ran on the 49ers. And there was one player I was worried about, and Fuyu knows this one player I was worried about. When it goes to the 49ers defense, it wasn't Nick Bosa. It was never Nick Bosa I was worried about. You want to know why I was never worried about Nick Bosa? Because we have an offensive lineman by the name of Jalen Johnson, who, by the way, did his job and shut down the defensive player of the year. Can anybody does anybody know how many sacks Nick Bosa got in this game? Anybody know? Anyone, like, any pressures Nick Bosa got in this game? Anyone? I'll tell you. Like, if y'all don't know, I'll tell you. He got a nice big donut. Nice big donut. 0. No pressures, no quarterback hits, no sacks. Shut down throughout the game. Now, granted, I would say granted, but then again, Lane Johnson's also hurt. Nick Bosa got hurt in that game. He got hurt in this game. He got hurt in a play that didn't even involve him. It was when it was a punt from the Eagles, and the 49ers, one of the 49ers players shoved one of the Eagles players, and it ended up hurting Nick Bosa. But here's the deal that cancels this all out. Guess who's also hurt? Lane Johnson is hurt. He's been hurt the whole playoffs. You want to know what Lane Johnson's been dealing with? A groin injury. He fucked up an adductor in his groin. That's going to need surgery when this year is over. Now, we don't know if he'll be back on the first week of the new regular season, but right now, he has been doing his damnness to make sure we win the Super Bowl by playing as lights out and as safe as he possibly can. I don't even know if he'll be active for the Super Bowl because we have no idea how much pain he is in with his groin. He tore his groin and he's still fucking playing. Absolutely insane. What Lane Johnson is doing is Hall of Fame worthy, and honestly, not just every Eagles fan, but every football fan should appreciate what you're seeing because look, having to see Lane Johnson do this for every snap with an injured groin against the team's best pass rusher, it is nothing short of spectacular. That's all I got to say from there. So as far as I'm concerned, Nick Bosa couldn't do much. Lane Johnson shut that ass down. We're going to find out if he does this again come the Super Bowl. All the Eagles did was just this run, and defense. And it doesn't help for the 49ers as well because they were down to their fourth-string quarterback. And when he got knocked out of the game by Ndamukong Suh, a name that y'all didn't think you'd hear in a while, when he got knocked out by Ndamukong Suh, again because of a shit offensive line coming from the 49ers, they had no choice but to run the ball all game. So that made life even more easier for the Eagles. But we're going to find out and see if this continues come the Super Bowl, which I very much doubt, but we will see. So the next game we're going to get to. Let me see if I could find it. The next game we're going to get to and cover is, of course, the Bengals versus the Chiefs. This game is marred with a lot of controversy, understandably so. The Chiefs beat the Bengals 23-20. You will look at it on the stat sheet as an amazing game, but in the game it was pretty fucking crazy. So Joe Burrow was sacked like 4 or 5 times in this game. The Bengals played undisciplined football at the end, and the Chiefs did just enough to hang on for the win, but not without controversy. So first things first, we need to talk about this. There was apparently a 5th down that happened where the referees did not blow a whistle at all. They didn't blow a whistle. And apparently it was just some weird bullshit that happened, and then they made the Chiefs start all over again. When they started all over, Patrick Mahomes got sacked. But without there being a penalty. And in this case, Eli fucking Apple causes the penalty. I'm going to get at Eli Apple in a little bit. Eli Apple causes the penalty. And that pretty much kept the drive alive for the Kansas City Chiefs. Now, I don't know if they scored a touchdown on there. I don't know if that was the last play of the drive. I don't exactly remember. But what I do know is that pretty much was the reason why the Chiefs won this game, because the Bengals being completely undisciplined. Playing undisciplined, playing frustrated. Now, I understand people want to go ahead and they want to say, okay, the Chiefs was holding. The Chiefs, there should have been PI. There should have been all this other stuff. But one thing that matters most with all this is just like the 49ers game, the Bengals played completely undisciplined when it mattered most. And it's crazy how undisciplined football can hurt you in the end. Now, not just with Eli Apple holding, but when Patrick Mahomes was scrambling out the pocket, when he picked up a first down, one of the Bengals players decided to shove him out of bounds. That right there was their playoffs. That's it. That cost them the game. Instead of them going to the Super Bowl, they're now going right home because of undisciplined football. Now, I understand there was bullshit. I completely get it. It's rigged. It definitely is a rigged-ass game. That was rigged for the Chiefs to win. But here's the deal. The final 2 plays of that game, in the fourth quarter, you did that to yourself. Just like the 49ers, you did that to yourself. You got nobody to blame but yourself. Instead of making it a harder field goal, you made it easier for the Chiefs to go ahead and hit that field goal to win, and you couldn't cover Patrick Mahomes when you scrambled out the pocket. Mind you, people, Patrick Mahomes is not 100%. Patrick Mahomes is at least 75% right now. 75 to 70% at the moment. because he's dealing with a high ankle sprain that takes 6 to 8 weeks to recover, and you know he re-aggravated it in this game. All the Chiefs have as an offensive option are 2 players. And even then, those 2 players can get shut down. It's Isaiah Pacheco, the running back for the Chiefs, and it's Travis Kelce. You shut down those 2 players, you will win the game. Now, I understand there's the Chiefs defense, but this is how I feel with the Chiefs defense, and I'm sure a lot of people have noticed too. The Chiefs defense is based on momentum. If they got momentum going, they're going great. But when they're bad, they're bad. And it's not even based off of talent for real, because let's be honest, the Chiefs defense, in my opinion, they're very mid. They're very average. They're very run of the pack. But what they need to rely on that makes them so great is splash plays like interceptions and sacks to basically let Patrick Mahomes win off of a possession or 2. Basically, the only way you beat the Chiefs is you keep the ball out of Patrick Mahomes' hands, which should be easy to do, but for some reason teams can't do it. You run on them, which is another thing. The Chiefs' run defense is not that good. And their pass defense is very average, might I add. Their pass defense is average, just their pass rush gets homes in moments where it's needed. But, all you basically got to do is just keep the ball out of Patrick Mahomes' hands. That's it. Keep the ball out of his hands. Drain as much clock as you possibly can. And don't let Andy Reid, don't let Patrick Mahomes have a field day on you. Because then if they do, that's your ass. Plain simple. That's it. The Bengals, they clearly did not do it enough. Granted, it was some bullshit, but y'all still didn't do it enough. And y'all knew y'all had ways of beating the Chiefs. Y'all knew the only way you beat the Chiefs is you grind it out. You don't play with them in a shootout. You play with them in a shootout, it's an L. Because Patrick Mahomes loves a shootout. He hates it when you don't give him the ball. But yeah, a lot of people, of course, you already know they're going to be voting for the Eagles to win this game off the simple fact that because this controversy happened the way that it did with the Chiefs. You know that teams they're going to go for the Eagles. But yeah, the Chiefs and the Eagles. If you would have told me back in September that this was going to be the matchup for the Super Bowl, I would have said you bullshitting me. But here we are. This is legitimately going to be a thing. We're really going to get Eagles-Chiefs Super Bowl. And this is going to be a very interesting Super Bowl. So key things for the Eagles and for the Chiefs to win this game. I'll start with the Chiefs first to avoid any bias bullshit, even though you know I'm cheering for the Eagles. For the Chiefs to win this game, you have to contain the Eagles' pass rush. Plain and simple. If you contain the Eagles' pass rush and you make Travis Kelce be Travis Kelce, you get the ball out to him at all times because the Eagles' linebackers are very weak. They're average. They're as average as they are at linebacker. If you make Travis Kelce play against the Eagles linebackers, you will win the game. Just feed him the ball. Give him 10, give him 11, give him 12 catches. You will win the game. Other than that, mix it up with not just Travis Kelce. Make sure Pacheco gets some runs in too, because while yes the Eagles are great at stopping the run, if you make them be honest and you make them respect Travis Kelce, they have to back off the run. They can't just go full force in trying to stop the run. They have to respect Travis Kelce, which they're going to anyway. They know this for a fact. Eagles know that Travis Kelce is going to get his catches, but it's a matter of how many of the catches he's going to get, how many of the yards he's going to get. But what I do know is this: you make Travis Kelce get the ball, you're going to win the game. This is the exact problem I had when it goes to George Kittle. But somehow the Eagles did so well, I didn't have to worry about George Kittle. He only had like 2-3 catches. Is where if you stop, the Eagles pass rush, you got them. But, I feel like it's like this. If their only receiving option is Travis Kelce, then that may not be enough for them to win because the Eagles can and will find a way to stop them. They have to find a way to spread the ball to everybody on the field. And I don't know if they're going to be able to do this with the Eagles secondary, who's very, very strong. You have Darius Slay, you have James Bradbury, you have C.J. Gardner-Johnson, you have Marcus Epps. They have been all solid this season at covering everyone. Hell, Darius Slay shut off freaking Justin Jefferson, for God's sakes. James Bradbury, he did well in covering a team's number 2. He did phenomenal covering a team's number 2. He did just as good with that last game. No team could really get it going in the Eagles 49ers game because their secondary they just played solid. It just took their tight end and their running game for them to win the game. Now, that can be the same case for the Chiefs. They need their tight end and they need their running game to win the game. If they can do that, there goes Super Bowl number 3 for the Kansas City Chiefs. For the Eagles to win this game, it's not even more so. You notice I didn't bring up the Chiefs defense because the only way the Chiefs defense is going to win is that they have to hope for the Eagles to make a mistake. I really cannot see them beating the Eagles offensive line. I can't. Even when I try to, I can't. But for the Eagles to win, to put it simply, they are the better team than the Chiefs. There's only 2 players that the Chiefs have that are better than the Eagles with. And let's be honest. It's quarterback with Patrick Mahomes. And it's tight end with Travis Kelce. And even then with quarterback, here's the crazy thing about it. Patrick Mahomes better than Jalen Hurts. This is at the moment, by the way, because Jalen Hurts has been teetering off a little. And I understand why, because his shoulders hurt. If you was to tell me Patrick Mahomes is better than Jalen Hurts, I'd have been like, all right, cool. That's fine. But look at the rest that Jalen Hurts has in front of him compared to Patrick Mahomes. The rest of the team is better than the Kansas City Chiefs. Running back, better. Wide receiver, better. Offensive line, better. Defensive line. All lines go straight to the Philadelphia Eagles. Cornerbacks, better. Safeties, better. Linebackers is a wash because both linebackers are mid. The Eagles top to bottom, aside from tight end and quarterback, are a better team than the Kansas City Chiefs. And they have to prove it. They have to show it. If this is another game where the Eagles win off their defensive line alone, I'm going to take my ass right to City Hall and enjoy another Eagles Super Bowl. Because I trust my Eagles defensive line to get after Patrick Mahomes. I don't think Patrick Mahomes has seen a defensive line like the Philadelphia Eagles all year. All year. The closest you're going to get to that is when he faced off against the Bucks. And that's hard to go off of because you have to factor this in. Kansas City at that time, all of their offensive linemen were hurt. This time they're healthy. But here's the problem. Even with them being healthy, like I said below, like I said earlier, they're a tier below the San Francisco 49ers line. So you know where I'm going with this, right? What is the best way you beat Patrick Mahomes? Especially since now he's limping. And may I add, that 2-week rest for the Super Bowl, guess who that benefits more? That actually benefits Jalen Hurts more than it benefits Patrick Mahomes, because a high ankle sprain is 6 to 8 weeks. Patrick Mahomes is taking all the cortisone shots, all the painkillers as much as he can to stay on his feet and make this game as competitive as he can. Jalen Hurts, he loved 2 weeks of rest. We saw what happened when he had 2 weeks of rest heading into the Giants game. He didn't do too much, but he didn't have to do too much. He did not have to do too much, but when he had 2 weeks of rest, he looked fine to me. So the fact that he gets 2 weeks to heal up that shoulder and potentially sling the ball against the Chiefs, I don't know how I can put it to y'all. Like, bro, this is looking like advantage Eagles at almost every step of the way. Almost every step of the way. The only reason why this won't be a true advantage is because we need to see how Patrick Mahomes is going to be in 2 weeks, where, of course, like I said before, he re-aggravated that ankle because we saw him limping in the Bengals game. We don't know how much he's going to be limping heading into this one, but his leg is fucked up, and he's doing all he can to play as best he can heading into this game. And I respect him for it. But in the case of the Eagles D-line, they have to do what they have to do. They're trying to see another Lombardi. So if I had to give my prediction at who I think is going to win this game, it's obviously going to be the Eagles. They have too much going for them right now, and too much is likely going to happen in the Eagles' favor. If the Eagles are going to win this game, they're going to get after Patrick Mahomes. They're going to hit him. And if it doesn't happen in the first quarter, it's going to happen at some point during the game. They're going to hit him. Now, it's either that or the Eagles completely grind out the clock and they leave Patrick Mahomes with little to work with a hungry Eagles defensive line looking to feast on basically on a limping prey. That's literally how they're looking at this game. So if I had to take a guess at what I think the score is going to be, I think the score is going to be 24-14. No, I'm going to go ahead and be generous. I'm going to say 24-17 Eagles are going to win this game. Now, maybe if you guys have different score predictions, go ahead and put them down. But I think the Eagles are going to win this game 24-17. And it's mainly going to be because of their defensive line and because of the fact they're just going to grind the clock out. That's all they really got to do. They're really top to bottom better. Now, the only way the Eagles blow this game is they don't cover Travis Kelce. They don't cover their running back. And they completely fuck up their game plan. Looking at Jonathan Gannon, looking at Nick Sirianni, looking at Shane Steichen, I'm looking at all the coaches in this game. That's the only way they lose this game. They lose it by beating themselves up. They lose it by letting Travis Kelce dog walk them. And they lose it by their running back dog walking them because their running back is very physical. And he has no problem laying the hits on the Eagles D-line. Or the Eagles linebackers. He has no problem with that. Aside from that, I see this game as a W for the Eagles, and I see it as us celebrating another Super Bowl. And honestly, I can't wait. Now, I'm going to let y'all in on this real quick when it goes to the Super Bowl. How's this going to go? for me and everyone else. I'm letting y'all know real quick. If I'm gonna be heading out to a Super Bowl party, I will. It will be like how it was before. I will have the stream up so all of you guys can come by and watch. But I will not be home. I will be over at my cousin's house watching the game. Another thing I will also be doing is I will be recording. Should we win this game, I will be recording the me being out at City Hall, and I'm probably gonna take a day off on around that point. I think hold up. When's the game? The 12th? Oh, beautiful. I think I have it all off on that day. Hold on. Let me check and see. Hold on. Check my February schedule. I need to check and see if I have it all off on that day. I don't think I do, but I will call off for that if I do. Here it is right here. Okay, I don't have it. I don't have off on that day, but I will call for off on that day because I will be out. I'm gonna tell them that straight up. I will not be heading in for that game. Cause I'm gonna tell them I'm gonna be heading out to City Hall, and I have a feeling I'm gonna be out there all fucking night chilling, just being at my best. So I'm gonna definitely let them know with that one. Hell, I might even take a vacation day on that one if they win that game. And the vacation pay on that one if they win. Yeah, the way how I see it, that's how it's gonna go when it goes to a little Super Bowl party. If I'm allowed at the Super Bowl, if we're gonna do a Super Bowl party, I will be letting my boss know. We'll be letting you guys know as well ahead of time that I will not be here on Monday. I will not be here on Monday. I will not be working on Monday. Plain and simple. But that's really it. So yeah, if you guys, again, if y'all have any thoughts, not just with the football game, if y'all have any thoughts on the episode today, now's the time to point it out. Because today right now it's 10:49 and I have to work today. So yeah, any last thoughts? I'll leave it to y'all. If not, then that'll be it. Okay, Fuyu, game day. I'm surprised Eagles is not here. Okay, so from what I'm seeing here, there is no thoughts. Y'all got nothing. Y'all got no thoughts. Okay, I guess then we just keep it quiet. All right, so the schedule will be I will be working on the schedule throughout this week. Since we're finally back, I will be working on something to do throughout this week. So y'all won't have to worry about it entirely. I will be trying my best to put this back up here, give y'all the times. Yeah, I will be giving y'all something, so don't worry. You know, y'all will be fed properly with content. But till then, guys, I thank y'all so much. Don't worry, I haven't gone to it yet. But yeah, I thank y'all so much though, with having to come by today. You know, it was great to do lightning round again. Oh, and by the way, I haven't forgotten. I almost forgotten. I'm sorry. Guess who's back in Monster Hunter? The goddess of ice is back. The Ice Queen is back. Velkhana makes a return for Monster Hunter Rise. If you guys don't remember, Velkhana was the cover monster for Monster Hunter World Iceborne. I'm happy to see her again. So, if you guys want to check out the trailer, we will be taking a look. I will send y'all a link to the trailer up in the Monster Hunter Discord. Yes, Fuyu. Yes. Yes. I do know about all the things that happened in the Monster Hunter trailer. I did catch all of it. But I can't wait to get the fight. The goddess of ice again, Velkhana, and see what she'll be all about. She's looking chill as hell with this too. Update 5 will have a returning Elder Dragon. That sounds like a Matsu to me. But pretty much, I cannot wait. It's gonna be a very, very fun fight, And for people that didn't like the Valkyna fight, cope, motherfuckers. Cope. I don't care that you didn't like the Valkyna fight in Iceborne because I fucking loved it. And I'm gonna love it again. So I don't give a fuck what y'all didn't like. So yeah, Valkyna, I will see you again. I cannot wait. That is gonna be a fun ass fight. Till then, guys, I thank y'all so much. Just realized I'm using Fire Glaive. Get burnt right. See what I mean? I thank y'all so much for coming by. Like I said before, Choco, thank you for coming. Game Day, thank you for coming. And of course, I thank the special guests for today. I thank so much to Ducky and Yvonne for coming in and giving us information when it goes to the situation with D&D. Thank you so much. Till then, I will come back very, very soon. I will come back a little later this week, and I will give y'all some more content that y'all want to see. So right now, I'm seeing two people here. Two people here playing some Monster Hunter. So we got Monster Hunter Freedom Unite with Rossetto's Rambles, and we got Monster Hunter 3 with the Real Warbeard. And I'm curious to which one do y'all want to see. So if y'all want to see, do y'all want to see Monster Hunter 3 or do y'all want to see Monster Hunter Freedom Unite? It's entirely up to y'all. Now I do see other people playing some other stuff. I see Peanut playing Rise, the Mighty Peanut playing some Rise. Now that's all I could really see right now. All I could really think of and see. Whatever you feel is the mood, okay. Well, I'm gonna go ahead and send y'all to Monster Hunter 3 Ultimate because why the fuck not? Who the fuck is he? I already hate this shark motherfucker. Fuck him. You know what? Off this alone already. You know what? Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and send y'all Monster Hunter 3. So check out the Real Warbeard. I don't know too much about him, but I know this for a fact. He's playing Monster Hunter 3. So y'all go ahead and have fun with him. Give him the Phantom Ray. Show him the love that y'all shown me. Until then, I will see y'all later in the week for some more fun content. Every second, every minute, every hour y'all showing me is every second, every minute, every hour. I'm blessed and thankful for you guys. Have yourself a good rest of the day, evening, day, afternoon, or evening. Peace, people. Bye.